Michelle season, Bachelor, they already have the full promo out right now. He's like doing his press, and then there's rumors of the next Bachelor. I'm like, oh my God, so much. But yeah.
Let's talk about Michelle. Have you been enjoying this season of The Bachelorette? I feel like people love Michelle, but haven't been totally sure if they're all in. I think most of it is the fatigue of this show just never taking a break anymore.
That's exactly how I feel. And I felt so bad because I think she's a wonderful Bachelorette and like has every single quality that represents that role so well. And I think she's stunning and so well spoken and here for all the right reasons. But I just, the back to back, I'm feeling the fatigue like no other. Like I'd even started a few of the episodes and just like couldn't get through it. I had to go to bed. It was just like nothing to do with her. It's just plus it's not only on the TV. There's so much happening on social media with Bachelor. Like this past week was nuts with all the things that came out. So it just feels like constant. So yeah, and it's unfortunate because she is so wonderful and she has this great group of guys. And I watched last night's episode definitely to prepare for this conversation we're going to have. But I feel the fatigue like no other. And I think a lot of people are feeling that just because it was like Paradise, Katie season, Michelle season, Bachelor, they already have the full promo out right now. He's like doing his press, and then there's rumors of the next Bachelor. I'm like, oh my God, so much. But here we are.
So much. And it is unfortunate because Michelle seems so lovely. And I really was kind of over it. I was feeling the last couple episodes, I was like, watching it for my job more so than for fun, which I've kind of always done a mix of both. But this episode, even though nothing, like it wasn't over the top dramatic by any means. But I truly can't remember the last time a Final Four was so into the lead and the families were there was a few moments here or there, but overall like pretty accepting of the process. And it almost got me a little bit like, all right, I can believe in love again after everyone broke up last week. Like it got me a little bit. It feels so pure. Did you feel that at all? Or were you just like, no, no?
No, I really liked last night's episode. It was very pure, but it's just like a testament to the men and the relationships they have with their families. Mm-hmm. I mean, some are like a little different than others, but for example, Nate's relationship was a little different, but it just was very wholesome. And I agree. They really do have strong feelings for Michelle. And the parents, I mean, you bring Michelle into a room, like any parent would love to meet Michelle as like their son's potential wife. Like she's the full package. So, I mean, that just shows by the way the conversations that were had and like the relationships that were built. So yeah, I thought it was a very wholesome episode overall. And I really enjoyed watching that.
I've been pretty down on the guys just because I think Michelle's so great, but these four really did. I think they kind of won me over for the first time. We'll go through them all. And I have, still criticism is not the right word because I know it's just like an edit on a reality show, but whatever, we have to talk about it. But Brandon started off in quote unquote Portland, aka they're all in Minnesota. According to Reality Steve, take it for what it is, his was actually filmed last and aired first, which I only point out just because he was the only one we saw at the end, jumping ahead, where Michelle said, I'm falling for you too. And I don't know if maybe that was because it was filmed last and she like gave in, or they just edited it out for other people. I don't know.
That's a good point.
But I thought that was interesting because all of them said, I can't remember the last time they all said, I'm falling for you. They were all ready to propose besides kind of we'll get to him. I just really feel like they're all in. But starting with Brandon, what have you thought of him so far this season? And what did you think of his skateboarding fail, but his parents?
I loved the skateboarding fail. I thought it was just like so endearing because you want to go on TV and be like your best self and like feel like a professional. And I thought that's what we were going to receive. Like, cause it was like a gnarly skate park. It was like huge ramps. It's like someone had to be really professional to go on there and he was horrible. He was so bad. And he said it was because he was nervous, but I was like, he couldn't even get like 2 steps. So I loved that. And the whole season, I mean, again, I haven't watched every episode fully, so I don't know all of the ins and outs. But I just felt like he was like easygoing, like always just like a solid there, not in the front runner necessarily, but he was always just like a solid choice for her. And she always had a good time with him. So I think he's just been like the silent killer in a way, like made it to this far without making too much noise. Again, haven't watched every episode, but I felt like he really came out more and we got to see more of him on this episode. It was really, I don't know, how did you feel about him talking to her parents? Like before they even got to the end and he was like, hey, I have you here right now. So would you bless us getting engaged at the end if she were to pick me? Like, I felt a little like too soon.
Last week's episode, you mean?
Yeah. Was that last week's? Yeah, I watched both last night.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting because my whole thing with Brandon is I think he's super cute and charming and seems like a nice guy, but he feels like he's always been so all in on her.
Yeah.
And I never really knew if she was. But then the hometown date episode, I was like, oh, I think she really does like him. And I don't know if it was like how close he got to her parents or then meeting his family and seeing that they are like seem similar and like they could go fishing, they could play basketball. Like she really could see a future
so
with
great.
him. Yeah. And then with his, I said last week, I definitely was like, all right, buddy. Like I know hometowns are a week away, so she could technically in the reverse be doing this to your family. Yeah. But I was like, this feels a little forward. Like he is all in a little too much, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that like a criticism? Like, is it almost a red flag to be too into the Bachelorette? I don't know.
It was just funny, the parents' reaction. They were like, well, if she chooses you, then yes. Like, we're just going to leave the decision up to her because we don't have a choice. Yeah. I thought that was funny, but I loved his family. I loved his dad and just like how jolly he was and like ready to go fishing with her family. Like, I feel like from what I've seen of both the families, their family the most could mesh well together.
Totally.
So I really liked that. So that like earned him a lot more points in my book just because she is so close with her family and that's a huge part of her life. And like, it's nice to see that those two could fit if they get to that place.
I agree. And I also think, I mean, his brother delayed his trip to the Navy.
That's huge. Like that is a big deal. That's like life-changing. And he was like, no, I'm going to wait. I want to meet Michelle. Like it's like a great testament to the brothers' relationship and their respect and just like, that they wanted to be a part of this crazy experience before he went on this other crazy experience.
Yeah. Like, thank you for your service, buddy. And also like,
absolutely.
Wow, I didn't know that was an acceptable excuse to
I didn't know you could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know you could do that either. Like, I'm gonna wait a minute. I got to meet Michelle. Like,
I have to go on the Bachelorette for a second.
With the Navy have been like, no, like not worth it. But because Michelle's cool, like we'll let you not go. Like
maybe. Yeah.
I just thought that was a wild thing to throw in, but yeah, his family seems great. Super compatible. I agree. And she was giving him some eyes in this episode where I was like, oh, like she likes him more than I thought. I thought it was kind of him liking her. But so maybe he could be the dark horse in this because to me, it's felt like Nate and Joe have been so obviously the front runners. But before we get to them, we got to talk about sweet little Rodney who went next.
Oh my God.
In order of how it aired at least. The apple orchard. I mean, he's really had quite the apple arc on this.
Yes. Full circle with the apples. I love Rodney so much, and I'm so sad to see him go. And I don't know if she's going to regret the decision because she seemed to be like very conscious of why she was sending him home. But I just like love him so much. And I think the dynamic of the house is going to shift a lot because he just was so happy-go-lucky and just like always a good time and always smiling and kept her like laughing. So that's going to be hard to send home because I really liked him. And I almost wish she was the Bachelor. But
I saw a lot of tweets last night of people being like, this was our final four. They seem so solid. They're all so in love with her that they're going to be heartbroken when it ends. And we somehow ended up with Clayton. And I don't even dislike Clayton. I just don't know Clayton. I know nothing about Clayton. And
I'm wondering if that was intentional with them not showing much of him and they wanted to keep him a secret because they kind of did that with Matt's season. We didn't really know anything about him.
Right.
So it was, I guess, made for an interest. I don't know if it works. I don't know if they're just like trying something new. He also, Clayton, I don't know. He just reminds me a lot of Colton, just not like that side of his story, but like his footballness and like the way he looks and his like stature. He just reminds me a lot of him.
Same.
So I don't know if it's going to be the same season because they're obviously different people, but they have very similar backgrounds as far as like football and sports and body type goes.
It feels like a Colton like do-over kind of.
Yeah.
And like even the poster that came out last night of him like holding a bunch of
puppies.
Did they do that?
That's what Colton's whole thing was puppies, constant puppies.
I thought so. What is that? I know that was probably a highly rated season, but I mean, granted how things, obviously not insinuating anything about Clayton, but like a weird thing to like try to do over or bring back. I don't know. I really don't know how the decision was made. They loved him for whatever reason behind the scenes. Again, I think he's probably a decent guy. Maybe he'll surprise us all. Who knows? But I was really just expecting the edit the whole time to be like, oh my God, you're going to love Clayton. He's going to get his heart broken. And he just like wasn't really a factor in the season.
No. I mean, we saw the only part of him we saw was like with the kids.
Right.
Which was great. But like, can that sell an entire season? I don't know. Unless we just have kids around all the time for his season. And kids and puppies. I mean, I would watch that. That is so genuine.
Yeah.
But from the trailer,
with kids and puppies,
with kids and puppies, and just women screaming at each other the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's
what do you think of the trailer?
It reminded me of Colton's season, because he cries too. Because I like that is the thing that Colton was very open with, which was great. And Colton seemed to be open with those emotions as well. So it just felt very similar. I just always love The Bachelor just to watch the women. It's just like, I think it'll be a good time. It always is a good time. Just the fights that naturally happen between the women. So I think